Good morning, Mark. I hope that you're just having an awesome day today, like I am. It is awesome seeing you today. And how's everything there? Tell me what you've been up to lately.
Well, just changing the world, well, at least my world. You got to start with your world. I met this one gentleman. He said you can change your corner of the world, and the entire world improves. He is a hypnotist and also a code developer. So an interesting combination, and a Toastmaster.
That's fantastic. Excuse me
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? Like, where have you been going lately? I know you touched on that a little bit last week. You don't have to give specific places, but what all have you been doing?
Well, I've been just helping with my family, working. As you know, we're working on this big project coming up that is coming up for us this year in the first week of November. Getting
Yes.
ready for that. There's a lot of transformational value that people can take away from that, but we'll get to that later. So just working behind the scenes on the deliverables and things that we'll be providing. So that takes a lot of time. As far as personally, I love to discover the world, and specifically, I like to go for walks in nature everywhere I go. That's just my thing.
Absolutely. When Liz and I were on our honeymoon, that's one of the things that we did as we were going in between Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and over into Cherokee, North Carolina. We came across just several amazing spots,
Mhm.
and we took time to go and to enjoy one of the trails, and we're so glad that we did that. Liz absolutely loves walking,
Mhm.
and it's such an amazing way to experience creation
Mhm.
and to just be able to, you know, thank the Lord for just the beauty around us. So I'm sure that I can understand why you appreciate those walks so much.
Yes, yes. And now, since you asked me what I've been up to, so I have a confession to make. I am not the handiest man in the world. I'm not saying not the handsomest, but the handiest, like the handyman. So,
Yes.
sometimes, so there was this leak in my bathroom. So, like the faucet was leaking, the shower was leaking, everything was leaking. It's like, oh my gosh. And the toilet was leaking. And I'm thinking, okay, so what do I do? I can call the plumber, or I can suffer through it, or I can learn how to do it. So I never did it before. So I learned, thanks for the YouTube videos, some instructions, and it took me half a day, but I did it. So yeah, so
That's
I'm learning.
fantastic. So you're
You know,
able to learn, and that's one of the things that I know you and I discussed, um just our focus being today is how to begin new things and to how to encourage other people to begin new things. Maybe you're considering doing something. Maybe you've been considering giving a TEDx talk, writing a book, giving a big speech, learning how to play the piano, taking up art, doing line dancing,
mhm,
something that you've not done before.
mhm, mhm.
And a lot of people get stuck there in the want to with the desire, but they
Mhm.
just don't know how to move forward.
Yeah, and this is such a perfect thing, Nick. When you told me about this, also, as you know, you and I, we both spend a lot of time in development, personal development, learning, and not just thinking, but reflecting. I have dream journals, and when I mean dream journals, it's when I wake up first thing in the morning and I write my dreams down, and also
Yes.
dreams. And this is a September 1st, perfect day. I was born on November 1st. And so the first day of the month is always very special for me. So it's a time to reflect, cast the vision forward, reflect what we did in the past. But this week, I watched the documentary. It was produced by Russell Brunson and team at ClickFunnels. Are you familiar with them?
I'm not.
It's a billion-dollar company. He was a wrestler at university, and there's a lot of stories about his rise of success. Some of the business partners that I have worked in the past, one of them, Johnny Campbell, he passed. He told me about him. Interesting story. And so Russell Brunson just the just the ambition, the devotion, the commitment to make it forward. And one of the things that he does is he creates this events once a year called Funnel Hacking Live, where people who use the software as a service come to a destination, usually in the United States, about 1,000, maybe 1,500 people, maybe 2,000 for a 3-day event. They learn, it's a user conference about the software. They share case studies, fortunes are made, connections are built, just people are getting to know each other. And he was talking about how he comes up with the presentations. And when he first started, it was horrible presentations, right? I mean, just bad, and one of his coworkers is asking, so Russell, have you started on that presentation? He said, well, I did the title slides. They look pretty. I have a couple days before the presentation, and it's the 6th presentation. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you look at the outside of somebody who is super successful, who has achieved the mystique, the dream that you can only aspire to, and when you look at their story, they started just like you. They maybe even started worse than you, but they kept going. And as somebody who is a teacher and a student of Masterful Public Speaking, I deconstructed his talks, the way he talks, what he uses, what he doesn't use. So I study it, like scene by scene or like a line by line. And what I learned is everyone who is watching right now can be a masterful speaker. The difference is that you just have to stay at it longer. Stay at it longer with mindful coaching, with right guidance, and you can be maybe even greater speaker, even greater influencer. You just have to put your mind at it.
Absolutely. One of the adages in the piano world is practice doesn't make perfect. And I think a lot of times with public speaking, that's the case. People think if they just do it enough, they will get better at it. And while that's true, they may become more comfortable with it. They may stay at the same level of delivery if they're not intentional, if they're not mindful with feedback, if they're not really listening to themselves, if they're not recording themselves, if they're not listening well to other speakers, like you just pointed out that you enjoy doing. It is a craft. And that's one of the things that we need to constantly be doing is putting tools in our toolbox. I laugh, and this week I was doing the TLI presentation. I got called on to do those at the last minute. And I said, it depends on which hat you want to wear. Do you want to be the international traveler? Do you want to be the executive speaker, or do you want to be the comedian? You know what I mean? Like which hat do you want to wear, and how can you develop it? Your path to success is not going to be the same as another person's path. And so many times people want to just put cookie cutter approaches on everything in life. We see it in our, in sociology, we see it particularly, and just we like uniformity. But what's going to set people apart is authenticity.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
You helped me with that, Mark. Would you talk about that for a moment? Authenticity, when people are starting a new venture, a new dream, they're ready to go to the next level with speaking, with writing, with playing the piano. And to finish that quote, it's not that practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Be intentional with how you practice. And so with that in mind, would you speak to that authenticity with practice?
Absolutely. So perfect practice makes perfect. Our deliberate practice makes perfect. It's not just amount of practice. It helps, gives you, it builds a deeper foundation of your overall skill set. But if you want to go higher and inch in the upward direction, you must have qualified guidance, qualified guidance and you have to be open to it. You have to be open to it, and you have to be there's this speaker in the United States, Les Brown. I think he's in his mid-70s. He's been around for like 30 years. And he said, you got to be hungry. You got to, not angry, but you got to be hungry, and he's just so funny. I mean, he's amazing, amazing speaker. I saw him once in Orlando at the Orange County Convention Center at the Get Motivated event. He's like, you got to be hungry. And it was, oh my gosh, I never forget it. So you got to stay open to it, find the best people, and remove the ego.
Yes.
You remove the ego and just be authentic. A good, qualified, outstanding coach will help you identify your true voice if you're talking about speaking. And that person or the team of people will help you develop it and help you focus on things that make you stand out. It's not that you will focus on your weaknesses, you will amplify your strength. And when you amplify your strength, you become more authentic. And I just feel that, I'm inspired. I'm inspired to become better, Nick, every day. And that's why we hold each other accountable, you and I. We work with clients all over the world to help them get better. And we work on their true voice, whatever that is, work on that. Work on that, because you cannot be all things to all people all the time. Pick a lane, maybe a couple, and be the best at it. And then you become untouchable.
And to be authentic is to be untouchable. Own that.
That's a quote. Somebody got to write that down.
To be authentic is to be untouchable, because there is no one else that can be you the way you can be you. The way we see stars, the way we see these amazing keynote speakers, and we want to practice exactly what they're doing. But we lose who we are along the way, instead of just taking tools and pieces from each person and weaving that we're attracted to, that we want to be able to present our stories and our messages with. I think that's really vital for us. And even in performance as a musician, that is really important. So many people with music, they feel like they have to copy the original artist. And I give great value, applause, and just everything to the musician that is able to go beyond what the original composer or the original band or the original writer did, and make it into their own, bring their own voice, their own narrative into the melodies, into the harmonies. And that's one of the things I love doing as a musician myself. But I think especially for writing and speaking, it's definitely appropriate that we be true to ourselves, because that's the only thing that people are going to connect with. Being authentic, being honest, being vulnerable through that authenticity. A lot of people say, Nick, I couldn't share my story the way you do. You've been through a lot, and it's like you can just share it. That's not easy. That's not easy at all to go out there. And at times it's like the scarlet letter, like here is my, big A to society, that I have a past, but I own it. It's part of who I am. And the moment that I think that it's not is the day that I'll go backward instead of forward. So we have to own it. We have to be true to those parts of ourselves that maybe we don't even like. And we can work on them and make something that's really negative into a positive if we are intentional and if we are mindful about it, like we were speaking about practice.
Yeah.
So
it opens up so many different things for me, Nick. Today I had a great chance to examine my own behavior, my emotions, my patterns. And sometimes you look at yourself and you think, is this really me? can this like
Do
some
I
of
like
the things,
this?
yeah, am I really like this? Am I jealous? Am I angry? Am I shameful? Do I feel guilty about something? Do I feel fearful? And all those negative emotions are signals. They're signals that we can work on ourselves to to evolve. And today I had to face certain things that I didn't even realize about myself,
Yeah.
and that was with a coach. That was with a coach. If you want to be grow, you have to have a team of coaches all the time that challenge you, support you, find those levers that you can grow. And
Yeah.
I hope everyone who is watching and listening is fortunate enough to have a good coaches, excellent mentors that will move you forward. Of course, you can work with us. We can help you with a lot of different things. But if you can't for whatever reason, I hope you have a good team around you. And like I said, I was examining some negative emotions that I didn't even think, is this really me? No, no, that cannot be me. But yes, the truth is, and I had to face them. And whew, that was a an interesting discussion today. Yeah.
Yes. And it's one of those things where we, you know, it, that's where our public face and our private face, if we're being intentional about our authenticity, we have to recognize that sometimes our private face is one that we're really having to work on. Who we are alone with our emotions, with our responses. We have to work on those things. We have to be intentional. Recently, I had an amazing reconciliation with someone, and it really encouraged me. At the end of a church service, someone that we just haven't seen eye to eye. He came up to me and apologized, and it meant the world. It meant the world because that showed such grace on his part. It showed transformation, and this is someone that I was disconnecting with, and it was just an amazing way of seeing that people do reflect. People do stop to think, how am I responding in situations? And it was just a true testament to me that we don't need to give up encouraging other people.
No, no, no. This is so good. Hold on just 1 second. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
excellent. And as we're waiting on Mark to get back, I just want to share with you today that if you're thinking about doing something brand new, you've had that idea for a while. And again, regardless of your subject matter or your hobby or your goal, and you've been thinking about it for quite some time, and then there will be months or years pass, you won't think of it, but then it comes back again. It's something you're supposed to be doing. I'm just going to put it out there. It is something that you are supposed to be doing. So why don't you take the first step? Get a piece of paper, an old-fashioned piece of paper and a pencil, and write your goal down. Number one, write your goal down. Number two, begin creating a picture of what your life would look like with that hobby or that new skill or that new level of participation. If you're a Toastmaster and you're wanting to go deeper and to become a professional speaker, here's what my life would look like. And here's what I'm willing to do to make it happen. Am I willing to invest money? Am I willing to wake up maybe at 5 o'clock instead of 5:30 so I can have 30 minutes to devote to this passion? Am I willing to go outside of my comfort zone and really scrutinize myself as I start something new? Even if I'm picking up a new guitar, and have never played guitar before, am I willing to get those calluses on my fingers as I learn? Because I like typing on the keyboard. You've got to do what is it worth to you? Sit down, write your goal, your dream, your idea out. And if we can help you do that, part of my company, Knickknack Creative, we are creative think tank. That's one of the things we do. And then Mark and I together, we help people that are wanting to go to their next level in personal and professional development, whether that's speaking, whether that's writing a book, whether that's launching into a professional speaking career, or even being a professional musician. It's us working with you to realize your dream, us doing our own research, us putting our time in to make sure that you get from point A to point B. But again, there are other people around you that can cheerlead you. You don't, it's one of those things where, depending on what you're wanting to do, let's say you want to restore cars for the first time, I would be the last person for that. And it sounds like Mark would be the last person to have you, to coach you in remodeling a home. Would that be fair, sir?
It's I used to have a light interior residential remodeling company.
Wow.
And that was way back in the day, quite more than 10 years ago. But to actually do the work, I mean, it's craftsmanship. It's craftsmanship.
Yes.
For me, it was business, organizing teams, getting clients together, the processes, not actually doing the craftsmanship. That is something that I'm doing now with my hands, which is brand new for me. So I'm making those neuron connections. Like, okay, how do I fix the tub? How do I install the water line? Oh, okay, this is how you do it. Oh, okay. Oh, I put the wrong thing. That's why it's leaking. Okay, take everything back, and it's a point of personal growth.
Yes. I've been thinking of learning something new recently, and I've got it boiled down to 4 or 5 things that I want to try that are brand new for me, things that I've never touched, things that I've never done. And so over the next few weeks, maybe I'll share some of those and we can whittle down which one I ought to go with. Because you know me, Mark, I'm very, very intentional, and I want to make a responsible decision with whichever choice I make to align my time with. But I have thought of there are a few things I'd like to try, and I'm excited about that.
I'm curious. I'm curious now. What is it that you want to try? I mean, I could be, off completely. Also, just want to say that if you are watching this live stream, Nick has participated. As you know, I'm teaching a once a week improv class every Saturday at 9 a.m.
The best. It is the best. We'll be back this week. It is the best.
It's great for couples. It's great for leaders, salespeople. You want to resolve a conflict, you use improv. I mean, you have to use other things, but it's one of those things I feel I am serving the community in this way, because people feel, they feel like their life is, a little bit stagnant, or they don't have the confidence to speak up. And improv, I have found, teaching it over the years to very diverse groups from all over the world, is that over time, they become more confident. They find their voice, and they're not thinking as much. They take an action. So I do it. It's part of my what is it service, as that I offer to the community, and would love for you to join. And I know Nick and Liz are part of it as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And last night I wanted to share this with you. I had an amazing invitation and opportunity to present with Zoom Master, or Lens Masters. That's what it is. Lens Masters Advanced Toastmasters Club
on Thursday. Yeah.
Well, it was yesterday. So yes. And they had a panel of recent authors on with the Zoom discussion, and it was fantastic. Pamela Winter and Kathy Jorgensen just did a fantastic job in inviting me, although it was kind of last minute, to that particular event. And was able to share with several authors, and these are people that have been writing books for years, series, that sort of thing. And it was amazing hearing the questions from the people that were looking to begin, and that process of how do I start writing a book. Maybe that's what your particular goal is to write a book. And the secret is get the paper out and begin. If you're not sure where to begin, think about what you want to say and begin outlining, and then go through those parts and add a little more. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to write the whole narrative at once, but begin somewhere. And if it's just people that you want to have in your book, start writing your characters out. Michelle, one of the folks that gave the TEDx talks at the same time I did at TEDx Eustis, she's part of an amazing group that she started called Moms Letting Go. And she spent some time with me and in just developing as a writer. And she just encouraged me to do a certain number of words per day, 5,000, 10,000 words per day, which seemed insurmountable. But once I got that going, it really helped me. And although our book isn't that long, when we choose our words carefully, we don't have to have so many. And that was what that process really taught me. But if you're looking at starting at beginning any new hobby, passion, or going deeper as a speaker, as an author, as whatever your next step is professionally, let us know. Let us help. We want to help. Reach out to Mark, reach out to myself, and we will work with you. And get ready for an exciting event. Again, we're going to share more about that next week, but the first weekend of November, get ready. Get ready. It's going to be amazing. And there's just a limited number of spots open. So if this is getting you excited at all, just us talking about a special event, in-person event, let's go ahead and just drop that in there. In-person event the first weekend in November. Keep that weekend open.
Jacksonville area, United States.
Jacksonville area. Keep that weekend open. So,
yes. And if you ever thought about writing the book, being on TEDx stage, or doing TEDx stage, writing the book, creating your course, getting started with your professional speaking, and position yourself as an expert, this is for you, because you will walk away with assets that you can use now, immediately, and it's going to be first class, and you will be proud of the legacy that you'll be building, and you'll be proud of everything that you'll be doing. So it's a lot that you can do in a weekend, 3 days.
It's going to be great. Well, Mark, I've had a wonderful time today. I hope that everyone has an amazing week. We'll see you next Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. But as we go, remember, if you want to do something, do it. Begin. Quit thinking about it. Get off the seat and stand up and start walking toward your dream today. What's it going to take? Do you want to be on the TEDx stage? Do you want to be on Broadway? Do you want to be at Carnegie Hall? Do you want to be a best-selling author? What is your dream? Be intentional, be authentic, and go for it. We'll see you next Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you.